Okay, I'm back. Take two. This is Mini Masterclass Thursday. We're trying to get our special guest, Tony Proctor, to be able to join. If you were just watching us live, we had to leave and we're coming back. And I'm going to try it again and see if you can join this time. I see Lauren's back. I see you turned on your video. Hello.
What's up? What's up?
How are
I'm
you?
good. I'm good.
Gotta love Instagram technical difficulties. I don't think there's been a single time in the last 6 months that we haven't had something happen on these. So thank you for joining us again.
Yeah,
How are you?
I am
Good.
good. So excited.
Yeah, me too. Welcome. So I just gave a little intro, but if people are catching this round two, they don't have the intro at all. But I was explaining that we met at Accountant Council a couple years ago. We both have a love and a passion for teaching and education in QuickBooks Online. We're both accounting professionals, and that we are going to help them understand today how to have a nice, healthy, happy relationship with your accounting professional.
Yep. Let's
Yep.
do it.
Let's do it. Okay, heads up, I can't see you. It's doing that thing where I can't see you, but I think everybody can. It's just on my end. So if I don't react to what you're saying, it's because I have no idea. I can't see you.
All right. We
All
here.
right. One Instagram glitch after another. Okay, so first and foremost, I'd love to have this conversation around this topic of, I'm going to call it scope creep because that's what we in the industry call it. But it's basically where someone hires us to do a particular thing. So let's call it bookkeeping or tax preparation. In your case, you do taxes, uh, or something like a cleanup. But then they start saying, oh, can you do this? Can you do that? Can you do this? Can you do that? You want to talk through maybe some of your experiences with that and help our audience understand when they sign a contract, they really need to understand like exactly what is included. And if that's not what you're asking for, it's probably going to cost you some more money, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And so, especially from the tax side, I know one of the challenges is people aren't aware that you have to be tracking your books throughout the year. And so it's not a situation where we can just show up and now all of a sudden it is April 3rd and you're like, hey, I'm ready to do my tax return. And it's like, okay, well, where are your financials for your business? And let's be real, because sometimes people get mixed up about what a business is. And I know we're not here for that, but whether
So
you are
it's
out
good. That's good
here
information.
delivering for DoorDash, whether you are doing consulting, whether you are a pre-COVID consultant or a COVID consultant, because we know we got two different animals there. But nevertheless, again, I'm scope creeping,
Now you're fast.
or or if you got yourself an OnlyFans, you are running a business. Okay, let's be real. And so we have to be tracking our income and our expenses throughout the year. And yes, plug, because it's what we do. QuickBooks is going to help you to do that. But put it in a spreadsheet. Do something. Call your professional. Say, hey, do you even have a sheet of paper? I got one. Hey, just give me your income and put your expenses in these buckets. But we can't do that at tax time because we're here to
No.
prepare the tax return. And in
Yes.
order to prepare a tax return, I have to have documentation, which is W-2s, 1099s, profit and loss statement, balance with all those things. And so, are there firms who do taxes and can help you with their books? Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
But if you are paying whatever, $750 for tax prep, your 750 is for a tax
Prep
prep
with completed information to start with.
with the completed information. Now, if we got to go and put your information together, then that's a different item. That's a
Yep.
different line item on the invoice, which has a different pricing to it. So, I want folks to be aware of that for sure.
Yep. Definitely. definitely. I see it too. The 2 weeks before any tax deadline every year, it for 10 years this has happened where I get someone that calls me and says, can you help me do my books for 2022 because my deadline's approaching? Yes, I can, but not in time to do your
Nope.
taxes, on by the deadline, because it takes diligence, it takes time, it takes resources to put all of that together for you. So, and I hear it over and over again. Well, my books are simple. That is one of the lines that I almost want to laugh out loud every time I hear it. Well, my books are simple. Well, if they were, you probably would have just been doing them all along yourself,
That's right.
or you would have found somebody who could just slap it together for you. So 9 times, maybe even 9.7 times out of 10, my books are simple is just the product of someone A, not actually understanding what it takes to keep the books, or underestimating because they think I only have one checking account, but they have a Stripe account and they have prepaid taxes and they have assets and they have these and that also going on
Yeah.
in their books, which all needs to be handled, not just, the download of the bank feeds and categorization,
Right.
right? There's a lot
Absolutely.
more than just categorization that goes into real books.
And even it's not just categorization. I think, and I don't care what business that you do. Everybody thinks that what you do is just insert the blank. You're
Right.
just putting in numbers. You're just doing nails. You're just picking up the trash after the event. It's not just like there's
No.
everyone's job has multiple elements to it. Even
Yep.
if you are a professional water pitcher at the convention center, you have things that you have to follow. And so
Yes.
it's not just throw those numbers together for me. And it's also not just pulling numbers off of the ceiling tiles and saying, oh yeah, that's my P&L.
Sure. Yeah, I'll take this. I was just teaching a class, and one of the things that came up in the class was deductions and receipts and receipt management. And I went into explaining how if you have an expense that's actually not allowed as a write-off, the proper thing to do is to split out the receipt and put the portion that's not allowed as a distribution or owner's draw, and then the portion that is allowed as the allowed category. And their eyes were like this. They're like, you have to look at every receipt. And I was like, well, that's why we ask for them. So we can see what the actual information is supposed to be, whether it's an allowed write-off or not, and we can categorize it correctly. But yes, when you are doing real books and keeping your real financials, you have to do splits. You have to understand what's a write-off, what's not a write-off. You have to categorize things correctly. You've got to reconcile all of your accounts, including your payroll liabilities and your child supports and all the things that happened on the back end. It all has to be correct before you can do your taxes.
Wah, 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 wah. That,
Well,
that, that,
sorry about the bad news.
that, that's all that they hear when we're saying all that. And see, it's not just putting in the
Right.
numbers. And so, a lot of times when we're saying that, they're like, well, it's not that serious. But it totally is that
It
serious.
totally is.
And I tell people you don't need good books until you need good books. And so
Oh, I love that. I
we
love
we
that. And
we got to do it right out the gate instead of
yes,
trying, because I mean anything that you rush, there's going to be things that are going to be missed, and it's going to end up causing a problem. Either you're going to have too much income and nobody wants to pay extra tax, or you're
taxes,
not
right?
going to have enough income, which that sounds good because we don't have to deal with the taxes. But then when you go and try to finance your Bentley and it only shows that you made $12,000 net last year, that ain't finna happen.
It's not going to work.
And so,
It's not going to work.
yeah,
And they're also, if you're working with an accounting professional that has your best interest in mind, that's where they can step in too
yeah,
and say, hey, I know you're wanting to finance equipment, or hey, I know you want to buy a building. We're going to need to do X, Y, Z to get you there. And so that's another benefit of actually working with an accounting professional is we can see your numbers. We know what we know we know what you don't know. We can help guide you to scale and grow your business, but we need healthy information to do that with. I think another thing a lot of people take advantage or don't think of and they take advantage of is that a lot of us, I am so guilty of this. We will say yes. We will continue to say yes to you because we are strengthening our relationship with you. We like you as people. We consider you not just clients, sometimes friends. But there comes a point in time where we need additional resources to do that job, to keep saying yes to the things. We need to hire more staff. We need to have new softwares. We need to continue our education so that we can learn more about, and all of that takes resources, time, and money, right? And so when you
Yeah.
keep asking, can you, we may be able to, but we're going to have to charge you additionally for those services that aren't already under contract, because that's how we manage our time, and that's how we manage our resources with employees, is going by the scope of work that we are engaged to do for you, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's when I'm teaching as well, I tell folks that if you start a relationship with a customer today and you're charging them $20 for whatever
Mm-hmm.
reason, they think that for the next 20 years the price is going to stay $20. And
Right.
and one of the challenges that we experience in our industry is that we are constantly talking to our clients about how they can make changes to their pricing so that they can increase their bottom line.
Right.
And so let me make sure I'm understanding this. I, my firm, my team, my industry is supposed to help you to generate more profit. However, I'm supposed to stay at the same price. I,
Right.
as a young folks say, the math ain't mathing. And so
It ain't nothing.
we,
No.
we, we have to understand that when we start to add on to it, that those prices are going to come along. And yes, a lot of our clients over years they become friends, and it's a situation where, well, you're my friend, you shouldn't be charging me for this, and I would love to do everything for free
Yeah.
or for cheap or whatever you want to insert in there. But the reality is that as I'm continuing to build my business and helping other people to build their businesses, yes, those resources are going to cost more. And we both are not only drinkers of the QBO Kool-Aid, but we also pour the QBO Kool-Aid. And they send out messages just about every quarter. In fact,
Yep.
got one this morning that said, "Hey, we love you so much. We're going to increase our prices." And look, I respect their hustle. They're a multi-billion-dollar company. Don't get it twisted. And if anyone from QuickBooks sees it, don't think that I'm bad mouthing. What I'm saying is that the
No.
reality is
Yep.
you are a business. And so as a for-profit business, they are increasing their prices. And so if QuickBooks is going to increase their price, or insert whoever, Capital
Right.
One, whoever it might be, they are going to increase their price. And so as I'm providing these services, I'm going to have to make adjustments as well, because I have to keep up
Yep.
with what everyone else is doing. So you got to remember
Right.
that.
And part of our responsibility, I feel, is that we're keeping up with technology. We're keeping up with new innovative ways that our customers can run their businesses better and more efficiently, but also how we can more efficiently and effectively help our clients, which requires us to do things like conferences and continuing education and classes, and continuing to put ourselves in the room, because I've met so many accountants that do this stuff. I almost said the other S word. Do the stuff the same way they've been doing it for 25 years, when like dinosaurs roamed the earth, and it is the long way and it's the hard way, and there's apps and there's efficiencies. There's so much they can help their clients with, but they're not, because they refuse to keep learning. They refuse to take on technology. They refuse to change anything about how they've always done it, which is not, in my opinion, the best way to serve their clients. So us spending that money out of pocket, for example, we take our team to QuickBooks Connect every year, which is now Intuit Connect. That's a chunk of change.
Yeah.
That's, we're talking $7,000 to $9,000 if you have a team. just to go, but that now your team has the tools to come back and help you be stronger and better and more effective and efficient and help your clients. But all of that has to come from somewhere, whether it's that conference or another conference or your continuing education classes that you take as a CPA. It's all money. So, and we have to do that to continue to serve you the best that we can.
And our clients, I hope, want us to do that.
Right.
They should want for us to continue to sharpen our toolbox and all the tools within the toolbox. And so
Yes.
that's conferences, it's software,
Yep.
it's the right people on the team,
Yes.
because that makes a major difference in the quality of service that we
Yes.
provide.
Yes,
And
it
I'm just
does.
going to nod very hard there.
Yes.
And so,
Yes.
if you want me, and I say me, you want your professional to provide you with this high level of service, there are investments that have to happen so that we can continue to provide that high level of service for you. And
Yes.
so,
And
and
we've
if you want your professional to just stay back in 1974 way of doing things, that works for some people.
and they're
Um,
there for you. They're
but
there for that.
but
Yes.
most of us are wanting to continue to improve. So
And I want to address too, we are also small business owners. We are also having learning curves and growing pains. And I think sometimes people forget that we're actually a human too. We're not just a robot like pushing buttons all day. We have families, we have lives, we have tragedies, we have emergencies, we have frustrations and overwhelm. We have all the same things that you are experiencing as a business owner as well.
yeah,
And so there's got to be, there's got to be that give a little, take a little thing. And I personally have gone through the route of being so overwhelmed because I grew too much too fast. I didn't have the staff to support that. Then I had to go through training the staff as well as once I got them, trying to manage it all. And there's a give and take, there's a back and forth. And I think it's just important to call out, we are human beings, all of us, every single one of us first. And
yeah,
then we're business owners, and then we're service providers. And so I think if you remember that about your relationship with your accounting professional, it can really help you when they're not having maybe the best day or when things are slipping. Also, communication. Don't wait. And if you're unhappy with the service you're getting, don't wait until it's about to break and you're about to break before you say something. Maybe nudge a little, maybe give a little constructive criticism. Just let them know you don't feel supported or you don't feel like this is what you're paying for. Ask for clarity in what your package includes, because that could be a simple solve right there where your expectation is here, but you actually are paying for this and you didn't realize the difference. I think communication is a huge barrier between a lot of accounting professionals and their business owners, because there's just this missing link of expectation management.
yeah. And, I'm not going to say that accountants or within that accounting professional and lawyers are same, but for some reason, the same way that attorneys do their stuff is the same way that we do our stuff. It's all within our head.
Mm-hmm.
Like we don't have a certain power tool that can operate faster than the other tool. But with the attorneys, or at least most attorneys, people will just be like, "Oh yeah, my attorney, they're the only one that can handle that." And so, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and pay them $88,000 so that they can give me a one-page contract. But you
Good.
won't pay your accounting professional $100, $800, $1,000 to provide you with something that's going to help your business to generate more revenue.
Right.
And so, yes, consider that we are all humans, we are all business owners, and I'm going to be the first one publicly and privately to say we don't always do it right, and I recognize that. And
We're
I
human.
have had
Nobody
to take
does.
it on the chin. In the last 17 years, I've taken it on the chin several times.
Yep.
Sometimes it's $100 take it on the chin. Sometimes it's 4 digits. I had one that was 5 digits. It still makes me nauseous thinking about it. But we're all human. And so,
Yeah.
we have to consider that, and I agree. Like if something's going wrong, let's we're still small enough. Most of us in these firm spaces are still small enough, or we have infrastructure in place where you can go to someone in authority and say,
Hmm.
"Hey, can we have a chat about what's going on?"
Yep.
So that we have an opportunity to either course correct, or it may be time that we just have to separate, and
Yeah,
that's part of business.
it is.
I recognize that, and I tell so many of my clients that it's always exciting as a business owner when you get a new client or a new deal.
Yeah.
But usually what that means is that somebody else lost a customer or lost a deal.
Right.
And so, we have to remember that, oh, great, we got this new contract. Ring the bell. Woohoo! I mean that somebody is getting ready to send you an email to say, hey, we've decided to go elsewhere. So we have to always be
Elsewhere.
factoring that in. So,
Yes, that's a great point. And we've had to do that a few times where we've approached our customer and said, you've just really outgrown us. We don't have the capacity to continue supporting you the way you need now that you've grown to the level that you've grown. We've loved being a part of that journey with you. However, we're just not going to be able to meet the expectation that you now have or the needs that you
yeah,
now have. And that's not a bad thing. That's actually you helping them by not holding them hostage and making their life harder because you can't help them the way that they need helped. We've also had engagements where we've terminated them because once we got working with the client, it just wasn't a good fit. Everybody is not for everybody. Somebody who's a great fit for me may be a horrible fit for someone else because I work differently or I like to do things different ways than they do, and vice versa. I have gotten clients where it's just been not a good fit. And when you're small and when you're learning, you try to help everybody,
right.
every single buddy. And then you eventually have to learn you can't say yes to everybody.
Yeah.
And you should be glad. That's actually a positive thing. If your accounting professional or maybe even any service provider says to you, it's just not a good fit, take that as clarity is kindness, and that is a kind thing for them to do. Because if you engage and it's not a good relationship, it's just going to go down in flames and it's not
Yeah.
going to be helpful. It's going to leave scars and
Yeah.
all that stuff about it. So if they know up front that it's not a good fit, that's actually being really kind and letting you know it's just not going to work out.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah.
That's it
Yeah.
hurts, and it hurts on both sides, but it's
It
one of those
does.
necessary evils. So,
Yes. Let's talk timelines.
woo,
A lot of what we do as accounting professionals is very date and deadline sensitive, right? And oriented. So I don't know how your firm manages, but we have everything time blocked. We have workflows, we have tasks that we put on certain days. Our calendar, we're already booking into 2025 things that have to be done because it's so date sensitive, we can't miss it. Talk to us about how maybe you manage when your clients, or what we can we say about clients not responding in a timely manner when we need stuff, but then they're mad at us when we can't get it done in a certain timeline.
yeah. And so I think it kind of goes back to the whole communication piece. You know, one of the things that we've had to implement over the last year is very clear communication about the date. And
Yeah.
so for us, like that initial deadline, we need to have stuff by 30 days before the deadline. So that's either
Hmm.
going to be, if you're a business, that's going to be February 15th. If you're an individual, that's going to be March 15th. And
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily take 30 days to do it. It may or may not. But, I don't think that there's any service provider that only has one client. Um, and if you only have one client, they probably are paying you seven figures to be the only client.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. Good
and
point.
so I mean, we have to factor that in. But those
Yeah.
deadlines, like I don't want to be in a situation where it's 11:58 on submission night and I'm having to call you on the phone because there's something that's missing or we need something else. Now, the first half of the year, we got a little bit of wiggle room. I mean, half my people, when we file their return, they say, hey, go on ahead and put me in my extension for next year because I hate this time. I'm like, respect it, love you, appreciate you. We'll talk to you in May.
Communication.
And so
Communication.
we have workflows in place. We have systems that are going to send messages out. We have checkpoints just to make sure that things are going to happen. But those deadlines, they're not so that we can go and be water skiing all the time. I mean, though we do want to do that
Right.
every now and again, but it's so that so that I don't go crazy as the firm principal. Two, so that my leadership don't go crazy, which then drives me crazy.
Yes.
And so we want to make sure that we're in the right state of mind so that we are doing things accurately. Like
Yes.
we're dealing with money here. So
Right. And
it's not a
compliance.
situation and compliance. I mean,
Yeah.
I just saw the class last night and I was like, we can figure out a whole lot of things, but compliance, like it is, and excuse my poor English, or it ain't. I do have an honor
Right.
in English, so I do know how to say that properly. But like it is or it ain't.
That is how you say it.
And so, yes, those deadlines are so that you don't get stressed out trying to figure out what's going on, but then also we aren't completely worn out and beat up, and we can't put out an accurate product so that you don't end up getting love letters from IRS or states or whoever
Yes.
the party may be. So,
And here's the thing. If you are paying somebody to do this for you and you do not get it in on time, it is still your responsibility as the business owner to have filed on time. So a lot of times what happens is they look back at us like, oh, you didn't do this. Oh, it's your fault. But if we asked and asked and asked and did not get the information and were not able to do it, the onus is still on the business owner to get it done on time. Does that mean finding someone else who can do it? Maybe, because if I can't do it, it's still your responsibility to get it in on time as the business owner and have the compliance, have the forms. I like to explain to people when I nag you for a form, it's actually because you're supposed to have it. And by me getting it from you, I'm making sure that you do. I'm helping you CYA. Yes, it's part of my job and I need that form to do my job, but I'm also helping you in a situation where if you're audited, you know you have the info because you had to give it to me.
yeah.
So we're really helping you also. We're not just asking for things because we have nothing better to do with our time. And really chasing documents is one of the major frustrations of our job. Do you agree? Like
100%. But we need those
100%.
documents.
So it's not what we love either, but we have to do it. We're supposed to do it. You have to do it. So we might as well have that communication of, okay, if I ask for it, it's because you need it, not because, and that's when I get frustrated when well, why do I need that? Oh, well, I've never done that before. My last guy never asked me for that. Well, guess what? You're with me now, and I'm going to follow the rules, and I'm going to put you in compliance, and I'm going to do what you're paying me to do, which requires that form.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. You can stall something and over and say, oh, I don't know. Oh, I'll get to it. Or you can just get to it and it helps everybody move along, right? In the
Absolutely.
process.
Absolutely. And it's that whole line, well, my last person didn't. And so I don't mean to be a jerk about it, but there's a reason that you're not at the last person.
Right.
And,
Whether it's that one or not, there's a reason.
it brings to my memory about a good friend who was a client, no longer is a client, but still a great friend. And they were upset because I was asking for some documents. I was telling them what they could and could not deduct from a tax standpoint, what they should and should not be spending business money on. And
Right?
they
Right.
said to me, I don't think that this is going to work because you are too
By the
straight
book.
and narrow. And I was like, if that's my reputation, present and
I'm okay with
accounted
that.
for, like if the streets are saying, yo, if you want to commit fraud, don't go over to Proctor and his team. I love it. I love
Yes.
it because The streets are saying that the auditors are hearing it, and so they know that if this firm's name is on anything, then there's 99% chance that it's by the book. Now I do have staff, and so if they do something out of line, I can't control all of that. But anyway, so yeah.
I have had a couple clients over the years leave us because we would not just do it the way they asked us to, and we would not just book it to this, and we just put stuff in distributions that we knew were distributions and that were not legitimate, because I'm not going to sign my name at the end of the day to something that's not right. And if that is what breaks our relationship, is that you want me to commit some sort of act of whatever, fraud or non-compliance, then we're not meant for each other. And that's why I say everybody's not for everybody. You can go over there and you can have somebody who's willing to do that, but it's not going to be me. It's not going to be my team.
I agree.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. I love it. So deadlines. If you push us back up against a wall, we're going to have to either charge you more for the resources that we have to be able to bring in to do it at the last minute, or we're just not going to get it done. It might be late. You might have penalties and fines, but that is because you as the business owner did not get the information to us in a timeline in which we could actually file on time.
Yeah.
And if you have a working relationship with your accounting professional, they're letting you know well in advance. They're telling you, hey, I'm going to need this, or you've done this for 10 years. You know what you need. If you just don't get it to them, it's kind of on you.
Yeah.
They're going to do everything they can to help you, but at a certain point, they can't make a horse drink from the water that they lead it to, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, any other words of wisdom you want to express to anyone out there maybe you've never had an accounting partner in your business. Maybe you're just small and now you're growing and you need to bring one on. What are some tips that you can give a business owner?
I think one of the biggest tips is to be open. And so, when we are asking questions, it's not because we're bored and we want to be nosy.
Nope.
We are wanting to make sure that we understand the full picture, because, things can come up in conversation that you may think is just like, that doesn't even matter, but it can make a huge difference in what direction that we go in, what systems we use, what stance that we take. And so be very open, share the good, the bad, and the ugly, because it helps us to paint that entire picture and make sure that we have your best interest at hand. As a sub bullet to that, let me jump in. When we are sharing information and providing feedback and suggestions on how to make your situation better, it's because we are trained professionals. And so when I say that, your company is doing $1 million plus in revenue, and you are set up as an S Corp, and you can't pay yourself a $20,000 a year salary and then take $180,000 in distributions, I don't care what you heard on some of these IG channels. We are telling you because we don't want you to be in a situation. And so just understand that we are having your best interest at heart, and we're giving you information. And if you follow it, then everybody's going to be in a good place and things are going to be good. So just wanted to add
I second that. I totally second that. If we say something, it's because we've seen it a jillion times and we know where this is going, whether you want to hear it or not, or whether you think it or not, or we want to help you proactively. I call myself a financial gynecologist because I see everybody's dirt, right? You see, in our profession, we see the good, the bad, and the ugly, and we are not judging you. We have literally seen it all. At this point in our careers, there is no judgment, but if you're looking to partner with someone and have an appropriate cost or appropriate charge and not get the every 3 months you got to pay more, us understanding the full picture will help us also scope your contract correctly, so because we know what we're getting into up front. I can't tell you how many times over the years somebody said, oh, it's this, and this is what my situation is. And when we get into it, it's 10 times more than that. Oh yeah, I forgot about this. Oh yeah, this just happened. Oh, by the way, the IRS just sent me a letter from 10 years ago. You've got to tell us the whole thing so we can help you the best we can and get you the help you need.
Right.
I love that tip. Love that tip.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's the biggest thing, just having that communication. And you know, it's communication is so cliche, but it's the root of so many issues. The lack of
Issues.
communication contributes
Yeah.
to so many of these issues. So, you know,
And
and
it's
then
true in your personal life too. Think about how many things could have been solved if two people just communicated over, in relationships.
yeah, it needs to be a master class on how to navigate life by communicating because I
By
think we could all
communication.
do a better job with that 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I also think if another tip I would give is do things right from the start. When you're brand new and you're trying to cut corners and save pennies, I get it, but you put yourself ahead of so much cost and so much time and frustration by actually taking advice, seeking advice, whether it's mentorship, whether it's consulting, whether it's a bookkeeper right away. Put yourself in the position where you're listening to professionals that know what they're doing and have done this for years. Don't try to DIY it.
Yeah.
What did you call that the other day?
Destroy it yourself.
Destroy it yourself. Don't DIY. Because it's just going to cost you more money and you're going to pay expedited fees and cleanup charges
Yeah.
and all the things. If I can offer suggestion up front is do it right from the start, seek the education, take the classes or delegate it immediately so you're not doing that and causing those frustrations. And you can grow and scale in real time rather than, oh, I should have done this 5 years ago and I've been overpaying my taxes all these
Yeah.
years because I didn't know.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. This
It,
was fun. Thank you,
it was
Tony.
fun. Yes. Thank
Thank
you.
you
This is,
so
I
much.
love this.
Yes, me too. I appreciate your time and thank you for joining us. Reach out. We'll have our next mini masterclass in 2 weeks. In July, we're going to focus on how to do mid-year check-ins so that
Woo-hoo.
you're not wait until the last minute in December. Everyone have a great weekend. Happy 4th of July coming up and we'll see each other soon.
All righty.
Bye.
See ya.